Welcome back to the show. I'm Julia Hartley-Brewer. You're with TalkTV. Now, Staffordshire Police have issued a new inclusive language guide because they haven't got any crimes to solve anymore. That's what they're spending their time doing. This guide discourages use of the word, among others, of policeman. Even, by the way, if it's somebody who works in the police who is actually a man. They stated that gender-neutral language is always preferable. Other parts of the guide went on to explain that communities with high poverty rates are not disadvantaged, but under-resourced. Deep sighs, everyone. Joining me right now is former police officer and founder of Fair Cop, Harry Miller. I could call you a policeman, couldn't I?
Yeah, you could call me an ex-policeman, yeah, but you'd be that would be demonstrating
that would be quite accurate, wouldn't it? Exactly.
Sexism.
I'm surprised we're allowed to use the word police anymore. I mean, surely there's another bit of language. What amazes me is that, look, I mean, I have heard people saying to me things like, it was a woman policeman. Well, that does sound silly. I get that. Policewoman or police officer. One of the things I often hate my team, well, because they're young, will often say a spokesperson. I'm like, if their name's Anne, they're probably a spokeswoman. I'm going to go out on a limb here. Let's call people when we know what they are. If we don't know their gender, then OK, spokesperson. But how on earth does a police force... Now, I know Staffordshire pretty well. I know friends who work in the police force in Staffordshire, husbands from Staffordshire. I mean, I'm guessing that they probably have some crimes that need solving. There's probably
they definitely have some crimes.
They probably had some burglaries that no police officers have turned up to. And yet here they are, time to write a guide on what language we should all be using.
By the way, it's probably not a burglary. It's probably a home excursion or something like that.
Yes.
This is the problem. This is the problem.
It's an unregulated Airbnb trip.
Exactly. That's exactly it. It's not about inclusivity, is it? It's about excluding. That's what it is. As Orwell said, this is all about hiding the truth, not expressing it. And it's quite interesting. If you look at the origins of the Cultural Revolution in China, one of the very first things Chairman Mao went for was the language. It was all about the suppression of words that expressed an incorrect thought. It's about the substitution of meaning so that the old word and the old understanding became redundant. And unless you were woke and got onto the Maoist program, you wouldn't take the time to learn the new meanings. And by that means, the Maoist Revolutionary Council will be able to identify you as being of the wrong sort.
Yes.
And this is precisely what Staffordshire are doing. They're doing this so that they can separate the sheep from the goats. They're doing this so that those who are enthusiastic for the new way, for the Cultural Revolution, they will embrace it and they will express themselves through their pronouns, through their bios, through the perverse language that they use, and by that means they will signal to their superiors that they are on board. Meanwhile, those of us who are conservative, those who are orthodox, who like to call a spade and a policeman, we will be recognised and marked out as being of the wrong sort. We are the wrong.
And that's where this language. You're quite right. It's about the sort of secret signals. I mean, this is the Freemasons are writ large, isn't it? In terms of you're one of us, you're not one of us if you refuse to play. But again, this isn't about sort of, as you say, inclusivity. It's not about sort of being polite to people. It's like the whole. I can remember being sort of quite an angry young woman about being called a lady, but now I think, oh, how nice someone's actually being polite. I mean, it's about people taking offence and stuff that it's not meant. People aren't meaning an offence. We've had people, haven't we, trans people saying, I've been referred to by the wrong gender. Well, I'm sorry, you were on the phone and you sounded like a bloke, so someone not unreasonably thought you were a bloke. Oh, yeah, and it turns out you are a bloke. You just want to call yourself by a woman's name and live as a woman. Yes, but it doesn't mean someone is being transphobic. It just means they thought you were a man because you are one.
Yeah, we are being trained to ignore the evidence from our senses. That's what we're being trained to do. This is absolutely Orwell. This is how many fingers, Winston? This is it, and we are being trained and coerced to accept the state narrative over and above the meaning that we derive from our own eyes.
Yeah.
That's what this is all about. We know that a trans woman is a man. We know that human beings cannot change sex. And yet I was talking to a bunch of police officers just 2 weeks ago who were telling me how alarmed they are that they are now being forced to record sexual assaults by the declared gender of the person rather than by what you and I would recognise as being a man or a woman.
It's extraordinary how many women are committing rapes now, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So these are now, there is now an increase in rapes by women with a penis. Well, there isn't. There isn't. The only people that commit rape are men. Men are the only ones that have a penis, and you have to have a penis in order to commit a rape. It's as simple as that. Well, this is orthodox conservative thinking. And what we have here is an attack on orthodoxy, attack on conservative thinking. And the quickest way to do that is to mess with our language.
No, I don't even think it's that. I think it's an attack on reality. And that's why I agree with you. In terms of it is Orwellian, and it's what they did in Soviet Union. It's what they do in China. Again, just the forcing you to say the thing you know to be untrue gives the power. It breaks people's souls. It means people to sort of give up and just feel like they don't have any power or control. And you know, I'm with J.K. Rowling on this one. I'll go to prison to defend reality on these things. Harry Miller, you've been such a fantastic, outspoken person, man, ex-cop on all of this. Thank you so much indeed for joining us.